bow stratagem, warbond, and new leaks. All in today's video, Helldivers, so grab a hot cup of liberty and let's dive right into the video. So let's start this off with something really positive. As you know, Helldivers 2 has literally been here, there and everywhere, and finally after many updates the game is in a better place than it's been in a long time. Just look at that number. Is this not amazing to see? Yes, Helldivers 2 has grown so much now, with over 54,000 players daily on average, and honestly, it's nice to see the game growing. Remember, this is just Steam, so PlayStation will have a big bulk of numbers too. I got this game on week 1, and actually, if it was not for this game, many people, including myself, would have not even started making videos. I want to say thank you to Arrowhead Studios for making a fantastic game. Honestly, I'm so grateful. Moving on to Warbonds. When could we expect a new one after the most latest release, the Urban Legends? As you know, they give us about a week before any Warbonds drop, and as of right now, there has been at least 6 weeks in between each one. Since the Urban Legends Warbond was technically stealth dropped, as some would say, someone wanted to know in the Discord if they would continue doing this, or would we see them announced first? B Vitamin, they're technically announced a week in advance. Urban Legends was an exception. We know that in November, Johan confirmed that they were increasing the times in between Warbonds to roughly 6 weeks. The Truth Enforcers Warbond dropped on the 31st of October, and the Urban Legends Warbond was released on December 13th. Honestly, I could not wait for the next Warbond to drop. It has to be something to do with the Illuminant. It has to be. I mean, if it's another bug or bot Warbond, then I see a massive missed opportunity there. Give us some plasma weapons, maybe the ones Iron Sights leaked ages ago. I'd love something like that to fight the Illuminate with, honestly. Plasma weapons sounds really good to me. So the next Warbond could be revealed on January 23rd or sometime afterwards. Drop a comment below. What do you hope the next Warbond would include? Me, as I said, I'd love plasma weapons. Now on to the DSS, because it's finally back after being gone for so long. People are somewhat happy, but again, it's had mixed opinions, especially on the Illuminant front. Apparently though, the reason it was down was due to the Illuminant, but in reality, they probably wanted to do some major reworks due to the mess people reported on arrival. Someone asked what was going on with the DSS, basically why it was down for so long, and 2's had something quite interesting to say. 2's, it's undergoing maintenance and improvements. And another guy responded by saying this: will there be a MO to liberate it so the downtime makes sense in game? The reason it's down was because it suffered catastrophic system failures due to the Illuminant invasion. Our Super Earth engineers are doing their best to restore it to a fully operational status again. Now this is great news, and I'm glad they have finally fixed it and improved it overall. Obviously now it's back online, things will just play a lot smoother, whereas before we was just getting absolutely destroyed by our own weaponry, and sometimes it was just so annoying, the orbital bombardment, you know, just getting killed 24/7, but thankfully it's somewhat improved now. This information was just before the DSS came back online, but I think the guy's right. We do need something implemented into the game, so the DSS being down makes sense because it wasn't actually really communicated that well from what many players were basically saying. Another Helldiver also asked if we could have a social hub, which would be awesome. However, it seems Arrowhead are not focusing too much time on anything like that as of right now, which makes quite a lot of sense. Lastly, on the topic of questions, a player asked if basically we could have a super credit buff when extracting the mega nest eggs. 2's, hey, interesting idea. The tricky thing still though is that even though it seems like a small change, due to the massive amount of players we have, it will have a big impact at scale. If you have 10,000 people gaining an extra 10 super credits during each extract, then that's 10,000 extra super credits people aren't purchasing, meaning we get less revenue to invest into the game. Now what he's saying in the rest of this message is just that essentially it would not be good for the revenue of their game, and of course they need that to help them keep going, which in turn does make 100% sense. And to be fair, it is not that hard to grind out super credits. However, sometimes I do feel like we could get more in game, but it's just a gamble really. Sometimes you have like really great games where you get a bundle of super credits, you find 100, and you know it's so amazing, and then other times you just really find any, you know, you don't really find many. So it's just a bit of a gamble, and I kind of like it at the moment because you just don't know what you're going to get. That's really just my overall thoughts. We did see a Hellbot previously teased by Ironsights, which was apparently going to be some sort of special merchant hub. Maybe that could be utilised to get more super credits by completing certain objectives or collecting a certain amount of samples in return for a bunch of super credits. Moving on to a big conversation about a bow and arrow stratagem, which actually sounds really cool. This was discussed by the developers in Discord when asked about various questions, one related to a Crisis crossover. This is an article that goes over this in full detail on the conversation regarding this topic. While there are currently no plans to add more outdated weaponry to the game, Arrowhead CEO Shams Georgiani has revealed that a bow and arrow weapon will probably release at some point in the game's lifespan. I would love a bow and arrow, especially if it came with explosive crossbow bolts. Imagine being able to switch the arrow types from stun to incendiary. That would be awesome. Helldivers 2 bow and arrow. Via the official Helldivers 2 Discord, the Arrowhead CEO discussed potential crossovers. With restrictions in place for what crossovers can do, players are begging for a collaboration with Crytek's iconic Crisis franchise. If a Crisis collaboration does occur in the future, players also want the game to add the awesome Predator bow that became prominent with Crisis 3. While Georgiani didn't confirm whether or not that will happen, the CEO did claim that a bow weapon will probably release one day in the future. So this could be a huge confirmation. We may potentially see a bow stratagem or just a bow and arrow weapon in general at some point in the future. This would be so sick to see, and the variety of different ways in which Arrowhead could implement this is endless. Just like I mentioned, if we could ever switch up the arrow types, it would possibly come with a weapon customization update. I interrupt this video to say, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe for Managed Democracy. No, not Managed Communism. Go away, Vlad. No one wants you here, Vlad. Go away. Yeah, go away. You'll also save a child's life from the automatons, so win-win. If you did not know, the weapon customization is apparently, as of right now, being worked on by the guys at the studio, as Ironsights has leaked this feature over and over again for quite some time now. Personally, I would actually love to be able to have the bow and arrow as a weapon rather than a stratagem, because I'd love to be able to switch over the bolts, you know, in-game from stun to incendiary, like I said, rather than it being an actual stratagem itself. But then again, if there was a weapon customization update, it possibly would allow you to switch over the arrow types. I haven't seen any plans for a bow. The Arrowhead CEO said, but I'd be surprised if we didn't see one at some point. And this is 100% correct, because the developers did say they want to develop Helldivers into a better game than it already is, with a lot of future updates. Essentially, Helldivers 3. The reason they say Helldivers 3 is because they want to change the game quite dramatically in the future, and one thing they have been discussing for a long time is an engine change, as well as adding a ton more features into the game. Just take this with a pinch of salt though, Helldivers, because yes, this comes all from the developers themselves, but things are prone to change or be altered. Now, onto something pretty funny. You know how we all would love to have a flamethrower mech? Well, it seems players have taken it upon themselves to kind of make it happen. So here you can see it says, when you open up the text chat, it enables you to use your primary instead of the actual mech's weaponry, meaning players have been running the CRISPR to milk this bug as much as possible for what it's worth, to have somewhat of a flamethrower mech. This confirms that people would love to see a flamethrower mech, and I said for such a long time that I'm surprised with the Freedom's Flame Warbond, we did not get a flamethrower mech. I actually initially thought we would get one. Better yet, even perhaps with the next Warbond, if it's Illusionist inspired, we could get a mech with plasma projectiles. Maybe that would be better. Drop a comment below for Managed Democracy. Would you like to see a mech with plasma projectiles? I certainly would. It would literally be absolutely sick. Now on to big leaks by Ironsights. You don't want to miss this, so strap in, grab your liberty. This is going to be good. So shout out to him for always delivering on potential upcoming content. Ironsights, dark fluid status effect. Recently updated status effect caused by dark fluid attacks. It also has hallucinogenic effects, but I'm not sure if that's working right now. The effect seems unfinished. There is also a dark fluid pool status effect. Man, this looks so sick. I wonder if an upcoming enemy for the Illuminants will have a weapon that can affect us this way. Just imagine being shot and tripping out to the point this hallucinogenic effect makes you accidentally shoot your own teammate. Yeah, that takes the war to a whole new level, and it would be absolutely amazing to see in the game. I think it would cause so much chaos. Basically, your teammate appearing as an enemy, that would be so funny as hell. I think that would change the way you'd approach certain situations in the game when playing against the Illuminant, because if they apply hallucinogenic effects to us, it would mean we'd have to be so much more careful on how we'd deal with fighting them. This scares me and probably scares you, but at the same time, it sounds absolutely amazing. Of course, this is not finished, and yes, it's a bit messy. It cuts out at the end as well, but it's early stages of this implementation, so give this some time, and I'm sure if this comes into the game, it will be polished super well. Drop a comment below. Do you think this is a great effect for the enemies to have over the Helldivers? I think it would spice up the gameplay really well, making us think twice about certain encounters. The next leak here by Ironsights is the Illusionist death effect. The explosion that occurs upon the death of an Illusionist now has sound. So as Ironsights clarifies here, it's an effect that occurs as the Illusionist dies. I'm guessing this is a new enemy coming to Helldivers 2, eventually with a fleet update. Give this a brief watch for democracy, and we will be right back to the video. Lastly, the latest leak, weapon skins, specifically with camouflage. This confirms to us that all the recent leaks to do with weapon customization is somewhat true and is being worked on. Weapon skins, a showcase of all working weapon skins on various different weapons, Black Forest, Arctic, Desert. There's just so many here, man. It honestly looks really, really sick. Man, I'd love to be able to switch up the look of my weapons in this game, especially if we had an in-depth color system, not just for weapons, but armor too. Of course, in this video, you can see forest camos, Arctic, Desert. The list is just endless and just makes me so excited because it just goes to prove there is so much coming to this game. I think it's safe to say if we get the ability to customize our weapons in game, right from the color to the sights and ammunition, we probably will get the same thing implemented for armor. Thank you so much for watching. You Helldivers are legends. Until next time, go and conquer the galaxy for managed democracy, and I will see you in the next video.